Hello, everybody. My name's Milan Starcic. Welcome to Freedom Rising, a podcast dedicated to empowering individuals on the journey to personal growth, lasting serenity, and freedom from addiction. Tune in and join the movement. Your journey to freedom starts here. We neither represent, promote, or demote any 12-step program or organization. We are merely souls on the path of recovery with the desire to expand our lives and experiences and share them with you. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 199th Recovery Freedom Rising podcast. Yes, 99 bottles of podcasts on the wall. I'm Milan Starcic with co-host Yosseff M. My main man, Yo, I love you like a brother, and I'm so honored you wanted to come back on today. And if you would, today's topic is mourning and releasing our past lives and relationships in recovery. Now, can you share what this means to you and why you were doing cartwheels to come on the episode today?
Awesome. Hi, everybody. My name's Yosseff. I am a drug addict. The last time we did the podcast, it was super fun, and I think we just always jive good. I love you so much, man. We've gotten to know each other so well over the years, and that's one of the great things about recovery, right? Because like the topic is, right, letting go, mourning, past lives, and relationships, but in doing so, you get to build good, new, healthy relationships. And that's why I wanted to come on here today, talk about this topic, because, right, the only thing you have to change is everything. And, and I had to change everything. And I had to let go of a lot of people in my life. And I had to let go. Well, I had to let go of myself, right? Like 35 years of active addiction. Um, and the mourning of that past self, who actually wasn't really even me anyway, right? That was just a mask I was wearing. So yeah, I definitely I'm stoked to be here. I'm stoked to talk about this topic with you today.
I love you, man. And, I have watched nothing short of a miracle of transformation since I met you in March, to it happening inside my life too, your growth has not been mutually exclusive to the growth of our family. Man, like the stitched together community of people that I love inside this program. Like when we walk in the rooms of the meetings we share, there's some bright lights shining in the eyeballs of people we love these days, and like we don't, like Yosef was just saying, it's not about just mourning and releasing our past lives and relationships. We literally transform. We literally transform, our attitudes, our health, the way we look at stuff, the way we respond to things. For myself, my ability to love, and there is some people, and a great deal of who I was that has first of all been brought to my awareness through this step work, through all of this, and there is some of it that really almost required some sort of grieving, where that
Yeah.
substance and that chaos, was getting let go, like finally put to rest, just like, my emotions for lost loved ones, like I don't need to cry every day to know I still love my friend Darcy who passed, and,
Yeah.
and we're building like new identities and dreams, and they're tied to the people we're becoming now. You
Well,
know?
we're becoming our truest sense, right? The
Yeah.
actual person that we are inside, that was masked from so many years of trampling that shit down. Oh, your phone's ringing. So many years of well, I said this
That was an
conversation
alarm
is going
telling me to
time.
make sure I'm on the link with you.
Okay, right. Make sure Yosef is up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's like in the AA Big Book, they say we will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. And I think part of that statement is we're not erasing the past, but we make a peace with it. Because if we don't get some sort of peace with that, then we never kind of allow ourselves forgiveness. And
Not
that,
kind of. We can't. We
yeah,
can't.
yeah,
It's not kind of, right? Like
yeah,
we, yeah, we just can't because that's we couldn't have got to where we are without going through what we did,
yeah.
right? Without being that person. But that's what's so great about recovery is that because it's not only about learning not to sniff cocaine or drink whiskey, right? It's about this this journey of self realization, right? And if we just shut the door on who we used to be,
Mhm.
then it's like, well, then we're actually leaving that door open that that person can come back in, that that addiction can come back into our lives, right? We have to learn from the past. What is it? The fool who doesn't learn from history is destined to repeat it, or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
That's
yeah,
what it is, man. So yeah, we can't just shut the door on it, right? And our big book tells us that, and it says the same thing in our basic text too.
yeah.
Narcotics Anonymous, right? Similar things, yeah.
Well, and in the Living Clean, it says we cannot carry yesterday's weight into today's freedom. And I love that. The Living
Yeah,
Clean has some good things they're saying in there.
yeah, and this journey of self exploration, right? Like, and here's the thing, brother, it's not fucking easy. Like, you can't. It's not just like, oh well, that part of my life is done. Well, whatever, that doesn't count, right? Because we still have to take responsibilities for the shitty things that we did while in active addiction,
Yeah,
right? But it's definitely, if we can't learn from it, you know, and our pain, that's the thing too, right? Is our pain from that past life. That's what we bring to our sponsees and bring to, just other people in our fellowship and our programs, that helps them build their programs better, right? Because you never know what you're going to say that can help someone else, right? An experience that you went through or whatever that's going to help somebody else, right? So it's very important that we don't just shut the door on our past. It's very
yeah.
important.
You know, I had that my non-porch meeting here on Saturday, and
Mhm.
Van brought up something that his son had said to him once. His
Yeah,
son said, not forgiving yourself for something that you would no longer do. Like if you've changed enough to no longer do it, he's like, it's like convicting an innocent man over and over.
truth, man. Fuck, yeah, that's solid. That's
And
truth because we're not that person anymore. That's the
yeah,
thing, right? We
mhm,
have to take responsibility for it, but we're not that same person. And it's not
exactly.
like it's not like we were this person and then we just did this stuff. Like, we were that person. It was a completely different person. I am
Yeah,
not the same Yosef I was a year ago when when
no,
I when I started this journey. Like, I'm just not.
yeah. And
Yeah.
that's a beautiful thing, like embracing that change because that shows that some amount of forgiveness and love has come into your life, you know, and
Yeah.
in the next morning. So that was the last share of the night where Van said that, and then
Mhm.
the next morning, this is what I heard: is that justice is served only once, and injustice is served over and over and over in relation to self forgiveness. Like you can feel bad once, you can go make your amends, but it's an injustice if you can't let that go, you know, to
I
yourself.
can dig that. I can dig that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can dig that. And I've always felt that, well, always, like, once I started coming into this fellowship and start, learning about who I really am. The hardest time I have is forgiving myself for things, right? So that's something that I continue to work on, right? Like, I can find it pretty easy to forgive other people for things, you know, but I'm really, and I think we all are. I'm not fucking special in this. I think we all are. We can be really hard on forgiving ourselves for, what we put our spouse through or our family through. You know what I mean? Or the shit we put society through. You know what I mean? Especially the innocent people. It can be really hard for us to forgive ourselves. So I really like what you just said there. Yeah, I can dig it.
And that's where I believe the step work really comes into play
Mm.
as a tool for helping us. Like, first of all, doing a really clear step four really
Yeah.
shows us what our part in all those situations was. And then, um, step 6, we're entirely ready to change. There's no kinda entirely. And
Yeah.
I think, like, so if we are truly ready to change, and then we're asking our higher power in step 7 for help with that, right?
Yeah.
Then that's where we become the non-guilty party that we can't keep convicting.
Or at least start the process, right?
Well,
Because step 6, we became entirely ready, right? We were
mm,
ready for it. It doesn't
yeah.
mean just because we're ready, like it's just gonna happen, right? Like everything, like every step is, is where I just finished, not just, but a minute ago, I finished my first set of steps. I think last time we were talking, we our topic was on step 4 and 5,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I've since finished a set of steps, NA steps in Narcotics Anonymous, and life changing, like straight up life changing. You know what I mean? But it was a lot of work, man. It is a lot of work, but I love that became entirely ready because because and at that point I was ready. Like I needed a change. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
I knew that at that point I had enough faith that I knew that my higher power then can help me. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, like, my my evolution in this process, and I could be wrong. In 5 months I could say I'm totally full of shit 5 months ago, but right now, it's that I can actually see my whole freaking defect, shortcoming in my part, on a couple things that I feel that I've come to be entirely ready for. And also I can see all those things that I have to change, all those patterns, like that is the releasing our past lives, you know, and
Yeah.
and like, we got addicted to the chaos as much as the crime.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like it didn't matter what the end result was. We just wanted fucking insanity sometimes.
Well, because it becomes part of life. It becomes just the norm, right?
Yeah.
It's the norm. So because in active addiction, everything is like right now, and there's always action going on and fucking drama and whatever else, right? So then
Hmm.
we come into active recovery. And of course, at first we carry that with us a bit, but then the majority of it just stops, and then we're like, well, fuck, I'm bored or something. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But but really, like that's like okay. At the end of the day, I like fucking boring. That's what I like. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I like sitting, in the chair with my book, and just my life is fucking so simple, and I love it. I live a very minimalist life. Like
Hmm.
I go to the gym, I go to meetings, and I go to my recovery appointments, and that's fucking it. And I like it that way. And I like that I don't have the drama stuff. But yeah, for sure, like sometimes it does creep in, right? Where sometimes I'll be like, or I'll share about it, like, yeah, I do miss that. I do miss the action. I do miss the chaos or something.
Hmm.
Because at the end of the day, like, well, I know for me personally, I have ADHD, fucking OCD, HDMI, right? And so my brain's always like going right, like a million miles a fucking minute, and yeah, I definitely sometimes miss that chaos. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a real sneaky one. Okay, I got a question here for you. You ready for one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Recovery asks us not to forget our past, but to release its power over our present. How have you learned to honor your past without letting it define you?
Okay, I think by being able to openly and honestly share about it at meetings, it was really hard when I first came into these rooms. It was really hard for me to like really open up about. Okay, so like in active addiction, we're always the fucking victim, right? We're
Yeah.
always the victim. And
Mhm.
so when I first came into these rooms, I didn't want to tell too much, right? Or didn't want to like really admit like that, at the end of the day, the common denominator in all these, shitty things that went down was me, right? I'm the fucking common
Mhm.
denominator, right?
Yeah.
And and so that's how I haven't shut the door on it, right? Because the truth is, in active addiction, I'm a liar, I'm a cheater, I'm a manipulator. I will steal your money. I will do anything I have to get money out of your pocket into mine to put substance in my body.
Mhm.
So by sharing about it, I think is the most powerful tool we have of releasing it. Uh, not shutting the door on it, but releasing its power over us. Because then once we get it out, for one, we acknowledge the wrongs we did, or the poor choices we made. But then it doesn't have that hold on us anymore, right? That was such, and that's and that's what we're doing in step 4 and 5, right? We're releasing that by fucking pen to paper,
Yeah.
writing it out honestly, right? Thorough
Mhm.
job, and then releasing it by telling it to our sponsor, whoever it is that you deal with.
I love that. Okay, and so for myself, how have I learned to honor my past without letting it define me? You know, I think one of the ways that, and I know that you've also said this to me in our conversations before, but it's that, I'm really glad that I was who I was in order to learn the tools of these steps. Like, had I
Mhm.
died without the awareness of how I was making my own life sucky, like that
Yeah,
would have been such a sad life to me, you
yeah,
know? And albeit there's a lot of stuff that you know, if I could rewind and unhurt people, yeah, I would, but I'm not living there, right? Like I I do believe that all of those choices and consequences were part of what it took to make me who I am right now. And truly, one of the things they say is that, all those mistakes and all those problems are our greatest strength if we're sitting down to help another addict. It's almost like our pass key to enter the Pentagon, where it's like now they believe we had the same problems. You know, like I could never go to an addictions counselor who wasn't an addict, and nor could
yeah.
I have a sponsor who hadn't been high. Like I would be like, huh? What's this? What's up? Like, and so I do think that who we were allows us to really have like that full spectrum in who we are now. You know?
Absolutely, right? The therapeutic value of one
Yeah,
addict helping another,
yeah,
right? Yeah. It's like and that was our that was our schooling, right? That's how we
yeah,
paid for these fucking chairs that
yeah.
we put in our meetings, right? And that's
Mm-hmm.
and that's and that's the experience, strength, and hope that we bring to other people, right? The experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then especially with newcomers. Well, I still consider myself a newcomer. You know what I mean? In a lot of ways, but like the experience that we bring and they can rap about with other
Mm-hmm.
addicts,
Yeah.
especially like super newcomers.
Mm-hmm.
And because you never know what you're going to say that could be something that they just like fuck grab onto that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? that
Mm-hmm.
that that could be their lifeline, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
why it's so important that we keep showing up. We keep showing up for each other. We keep showing up to these meetings. And because it's not just about at the beginning. It's we go to these meetings because we need it, right?
Yeah.
And like all addicts, we're selfish and self-centered. So we just look at it like I need this. This is for me to hang on to, so I can. It's a lifeline, right? Then after a while, then we're going to those meetings, and some days just because well somebody else might need me there.
Mm-hmm.
I might be able to give something to someone.
I always feel like if I'm skeptical about going to a meeting, I need to get there the most.
That's what they say, right? Yeah.
But like it's proven to me that every time I'm like, no, I don't want to go. Then I'm like, damn, that was good.
Dude, okay, listen though. Have you ever been like, damn, I don't want to go? Your program is fucking watertight, bro. Like, I feel like Milan is always like, yeah, I'm going to a meeting. You'd probably go to 10 meetings a day if you could. You love it.
Well, if they were all close, I would. Like if they were all in that room from yesterday,
That's a great room.
that room has magic in it, man. I
There's
don't know
some
what.
rooms that are just great, and there's some rooms that are, you know. not as great.
Some
I don't
rooms
have much
make me feel like I'm in the principal's office, and some make me feel like I'm in the womb.
to
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. I was chairing a meeting last night in the principal's office.
Ooh, in the
He
principal's
was one
office.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's so important to go. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that is the principal's office. Okay,
You know
so
what I'm talking about.
yeah, mourning is the soul's way of clearing space for new life to grow. How has grief made room for new forms of love and purpose in your life?
Well, I think like, okay, listen. I don't feel that you can even have an actual love connection with uh with something blocking yourself like a substance, right?
Yeah,
So, and especially like love for a higher power. Okay, okay. For one, we can't make an honest connection, a love connection with our higher power until we get clean. Take the mask off, get clean.
yeah,
We can love another person until we are our truest self, right? Now, it's often been said, like, we'll love you till you love yourself. And I like saying, I'll love you until I can love myself, right? Because there's there's a lot of still there's a lot of self-hate that goes on in me because of what I've done in the past. And I've hurt people in the worst ways.
mm,
Um, mentally, physically, emotionally. Like, I was not a good man. When I'm in active addiction, I'm a fucking monster. And so like as far as mourning my past self, I really don't mourn that man. I
mhm.
feel bad for what that man had to go through, but I don't mourn the way I was or the way I lived my life. I
What
have no
about
idea.
past relationships?
Oh, for sure, right? Yeah. Yeah, there's past relationships. But then again, there's some relationships in my life that have only gotten better, right? That I have asked for forgiveness, proved that I'm not that person anymore. And they've gotten beautiful. And now it's made room, it's made way for love, like real love.
I love that. So, how has grief made room for new forms of love and purpose in my life? Well, I'm not going to say the name, but there's one friend specifically that this comes to mind, and uh, and it was somebody that I was pretty close to, and I realized through the step work, through trying to discuss boundaries with this person, them just not even remotely being considered, and actually just like stepping back from it and looking to myself and saying, this isn't healthy for me. Like this is not healthy for me to remain in. And at first, I'm telling you right now, like I talked to my sponsor about it and everything. And he was just like, he's like, man, he's like, you don't owe somebody else something that's hurting you. Like it's
Mhm.
there's no debt there, you know?
Right.
And I- and I realized that like I put myself so far behind other people at that point. Like this was over a year ago that this happened, and I put myself so far behind other people that it was like hurting the feelings of somebody who was hurting me was more important than taking care of myself. And and so like what that did though, like when this question says new forms of love and purpose, is that it made me realize that I have to take a look at my own self-love, you know and I also take a look at like what is keeping me in unhealthy relationships. Like why am I wasting time? Why am I wasting time for things that are actually disabling my ability to grow? you
Mhm.
know and I mean, dude, 37 years of self-sabotage. There's
Yeah.
some big old patterns there, you know and I realized that I previously had a tendency of choosing friends that would make me second all the time.
Hmm.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
it's just I'm admitting it. Like I've looked at it, but um, so there was like kind of like a grieving or a releasing of that relationship, but it's opened up to like a greater sense of all round love, you know, for myself and for others. And it's given me a freedom to actually break free of relationships like that. You know, like I don't need to be like sitting with a hammer chipping at ice forever just to still feel cold. You know, like I can be like, whoa, that's cold. I don't care. I won't want it, you know?
Yeah, I love that, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I can dig that. I think that a big thing for us as addicts and when that we have to do, and it's hard for newcomers, but what we have to do is we have to realize that we have to let go of a lot of relationship from the past, and or from like that from our past that we've had for a really long time, right? Like
Mm.
I always say that I have zero business talking to normies. I have no business
Yeah.
talking to them, and
Yeah.
I don't hang out with normies. I don't. I mean, obviously, I've talked to them, right? Like in your day to day stuff. Go to the gym, go to my meetings, my doctors and stuff. They're all normies. But I mean, as far as like in a personal on a personal level, really personal level, I got no business talking to them because I have nothing. There's nothing relatable there.
Yeah.
So once I figured that out, it was actually pretty easy for me to sever a lot of ties. I was just
Mm.
like, and I also realized too that like a lot of it was me people pleasing anyway. Kind of maybe what you like you were just saying you were
Mm.
found friendships where you were second in that, right? And
Yeah.
that's the people pleasing that we as addicts um, tend to do, right?
Mm.
We tend to be people pleasers and uh, and whatever because we want the admiration or we want the acknowledgement of whatever.
Yeah. Or we just want to share space with somebody that we have some sort of admiration for. And it's like, you know, what I realized for myself is that a lot of the qualities I was admiring, I don't even respect anymore.
Okay, well, there, right? Yeah,
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 like,
because you're not that person anymore, bro.
I know.
Right?
That's what
Like
I'm saying is my entire scope of morals or like things I would like to emulate, you know? Like I was listening to this book this morning and it's like, you know, it's like you don't have to be jealous of somebody you look up to. You know what I mean? You don't have to be jealous of somebody you look up
yeah,
to. You can just see things that you would like your spirit to emulate, and you can be grateful that you have a beacon to walk towards,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. I can dig that. Yeah,
And it doesn't have to be a comparison. It can just be like a recognition of a quality that you see as having a good benefit on a life, on a soul, on a physicality, whatever it is, you know.
yeah,
Like it doesn't have to turn into jealousy and a comparison. Like
yeah.
like I was saying yesterday in my share, like that comparison is the thief of joy.
I love
Like
that, man. Comparison is the thief of joy. Yeah, I heard you say that yesterday, and I've heard you say it before, and I was like,
yeah.
I remember that shit. That's a good one. I like that.
But it is, man. Every single time I'm comparing myself, I'm either making me better, you worse, or you better and me worse.
Right? Yeah.
Like I'm
And
never
that's
like,
again,
whoa,
yeah, that's normie behavior. That's normie stuff. That's one of the reasons why I don't hang out or I don't talk to normies. Why I say I got no business talking to them is because they don't they don't even trip on something. Like they don't understand that kind of stuff. They don't even stop to think about that kind of stuff. They would
mm,
just be like, oh, okay, there's Taylor Swift. I want to be. I wish I was that or something. Or
yeah.
I don't know. Whatever, right? Yeah.
So I got another question here. It kind of relates to something we talked about already, but we could expand on it a little bit. Is the big book reminds us that our worst experiences can become our greatest assets when shared with love. How has your pain been transformed into service for others?
Definitely by definitely by again being open and honest at meetings about the man I used to be, but also now and more recently, like I have a sponsee now and just uh sharing with him those past experiences, some of the past experiences I've had and stuff, and 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 kind of like and then he can relate it to like what he's going through right now because he's very new in recovery, and yeah, and I don't remember the question.
Okay, how has your pain been transformed into service for others?
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, I think what I just said, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
sharing my pain and my experience with my
I
yeah.
love you, brother.
Mine
It's
always
funny though.
listen.
You had answered it perfectly, and then you're like, I
I
don't
know.
remember the question. It's like because you
Yeah.
didn't need to anymore. You'd finished it.
ADHD, man. HDMI glitch.
Yeah, like how has my pain been transformed into service for others? Is well, I agree wholeheartedly about the sponsorship and also the sharing, and I think also not just sharing that pain,
Mm,
but sharing that journey to redemption. Like it's like no matter how low somebody is, I do believe the greatest service is having the message with the mess in those shares. Like
yeah,
this is where I was, and this is what it took to get me here. And because I think I for myself, man, when I was starting out, I was desperate to find out the secret sauce from the people who were laughing, smiling, enjoying
yeah,
life and recovery.
yeah,
Like I was like, come on, what is it?
yeah,
And
yeah.
and and I'll tell you one thing it is, man. It's consistency.
Yes,
You
yes.
know, like
Consistency,
it's
and
not a smattering of recovery every few months.
no, no. It's doing the work daily.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
working the program daily and doing it right.
yeah.
Okay, right. So it's said in our rooms, right? It's a simple program for complicated people. Here's what I've kind of come to realize recently. You got to do the work, yeah, but
Yeah.
the work you see isn't fucking hard. At first, it's hard, maybe, right? Like at first, it can be hard because you have maybe a lot of cravings, using dreams, whatever. You miss the action, like we were talking about before. You grieve relationships that you can't be around anymore because you know it's gonna make you pick up or use,
Or you're
and
lonely.
or you're fucking lonely, yeah, man. Which is something I don't struggle with. I don't get lonely. I like my going out, like my socializing. That's at our meetings. That's what you know what I mean. I'm kind of a loner by nature. I enjoy my own company, so I don't get lonely. But
Anyone out there, just try to call Yosef every day.
yeah, please don't. Yeah, don't call me. It's fucking hateful though. That's the thing. Like, so I got so the way when I got a sponsor, when I finally got a sponsor, one of the things was he's like, you call me every day at this time. So now I have a sponsor. I'm just kind of running the program the same way, right? My program with my sponsor the same way. Like you call me every day at 6 o'clock. So at first I'm like, fuck, I gotta answer my phone. Like I gotta call someone at a certain time, and now I gotta answer the phone at a certain time, right? Because I would way rather text, but whatever. It's a
But
small price to pay to uh to stay sober, to stay
or to
clean.
save a life, man. And not only that
Yeah,
is that like I mean, inevitably that forces you to grow.
yeah, and
Like it's
that's my
increasing your commitment, it's increasing your discipline, it's increasing your service, it's increasing your love for another person. Like
yeah. It's
there's the
decreasing that are because like as addicts we want
ego.
to isolate, we want to
Yeah,
isolate, right?
yeah,
That's what we want to do as addicts. So like
yeah.
it's decreasing that, right?
It's
Oh, my
fighting
my
against
sister
the
just
ego's natural instinct, man.
my sister just texted me.
Oh yeah,
She's like, "Where's you? You're not in the
yeah,
gym,
yeah.
right?"
Well, tell her to keep pumping iron and see her
Yeah,
tonight at the meeting.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the living clean teaches that we must grieve what we've lost to fully accept what we've gained. How do you give yourself permission to grieve the life you left behind?
How do I give myself permission?
Hmm.
That's a toughie. I don't know if I have to give myself permission. I
Okay.
think it's just, it's just I left it behind because I chose life,
Mm.
because it was really, I came into these rooms on my hands and knees, dude. I was a broken man. I was sick and I was broken and I was dying, and I chose life. And how did I give myself permission to do that? Yeah, just because I wanted to live. I
Yeah.
just decided that I wanted to live. And I knew if I was, I was weeks, if not days away from dying. Like your body just can't sustain um, the amount of the amount of narcotics I was putting in my body. It's just a matter of time. And I
Yep.
and I I saw that something in me sparked and just decided to do it. And that's the thing, right? Like, oh man, because I had to hit my rock bottom. My sponsor said to me once, he said, you have to hit your rock bottom before you really want some before you really want to do this work. And some of our rock bottoms means death, means that you die.
Mm.
And yeah, and I just did not want to die. I didn't want to die. I wanted to live.
It's not fun. I'm telling you right now. It was not fun.
Mm-mm.
It
Yeah,
was
you
not.
died.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, and I was awake for it. And I'm just telling you, all those sleepyhead dyers, you're fucking lucky. Okay. Like, but like, so how do I give myself permission to grieve the life I left behind? This was a tough one with some friends. It was kind of like the first time in my life where I was choosing between, you know, that people pleasing and
Yeah.
my own life, you know, and sticking to that and seeing that those relationships meant much less than my new life, like for me. And there was a few people that it was tough, because it that to me, like I literally had to give myself permission to let those things go. And I felt like there was some tough points where I'm like, it's okay to just be like, hey, you want to meet and go for a walk while we're straight, great, but that'll be the only way we're seeing each other. Like, messages like that were
Yeah.
literally sent out to some people, like, happy to do something healthy, ain't coming over. Like, have a fun
Yeah.
birthday. Like,
Yeah. And that's the thing too, though. Like when we come into recovery, right? A lot of those past relationships, it's not like we have to decide to close the door on them. They those people close the door on themselves,
yeah,
because like all of a sudden, like there's a lot of relationships, like friendships and stuff, that were maybe 30 years long, but every part of that relationship had something to do with getting loaded.
or a
So all of a
transaction,
sudden, like
man.
sitting with someone who's in recovery and just having an honest conversation when you're both sober. A lot of people, a lot of normies, are just like, "What? No, why? Why? Why
Yeah,
would you want to watch a football game and not get drunk? Why would
yeah,
you want to go to a club and not get fucking high? Why
yeah.
would you? You know what I mean? Like they can't grasp it. And there's a
Well,
lot of
just
people
like
that
we
are
couldn't for so long.
just like, yeah, same thing, right? Like
Yeah.
why would I, yeah, why would you, and honestly, why would I go to a birthday party of someone who I know that is going to be drinking? Drunk people fucking piss me off, for one. They're
Yeah.
annoying as fuck.
Yeah.
And also, why would I put myself in
It's
the
not a
position?
spectator sport, man.
It's
But
not.
it, but like there was moments with a couple people where I felt like it was almost guilt provoking, and I had to
Oh
kind
yeah.
of be like, hey, this is okay, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because people don't like to. If you get around people and you're in recovery and you go around people who aren't in recovery, and then people automatically are like, they think that you're judging them, but really
Yeah,
it's them judging them.
they're just guilty, like
They
by
just
the
feel guilty. Like what? There's something wrong with drinking. There's something
yeah,
wrong with smoking cocaine.
yeah,
Like, and I'm not saying you do you, man. I'm not saying that people shouldn't drink. I'm not saying people shouldn't smoke crack. Whatever. If that's what you want to do, that's your life. I just know I can't smoke crack like a gentleman. I just can't. I'm a pig. I'm a hog. I'm a cocaine piggy.
We sweet. Okay, so loving completely means forgiving the people we once resented, including ourselves. How has forgiveness deepened your sense of freedom in recovery?
Um, it's ongoing, right? Like the
Mm,
longer I stay clean, the more work I'm doing on myself and in this program, the more I'm forgiving myself. Like I haven't fully forgiven myself, is
yeah.
the truth.
Hmm.
Um, and there are there are uh there are some massive resentments that I've been able to let go when it
Hmm.
comes to other people.
Hmm.
Um, and
Have you
sometimes
have you ever prayed for somebody you're holding a resentment against? Like
all the time.
tried that 2 week thing where you pray for 2 weeks?
Yeah, I do it for months. I do it all the
Yeah.
time. I do it daily.
Okay.
Daily, I pray for people who uh, who I still hold resentments for.
Mm,
Because here's the trip, right? Here's my trip. Um, if you put out positive, you will get positive in
mhm,
return, right? The law of
mm,
attraction. I believe in that. If you put out negative, you're like, oh man, this person fucking ripped me off or whatever, right? Then you're just attracting negative energy to yourself, right?
mm.
So I do it daily. I pray daily for people. I one of the things I do is I pray that to bring light, love, and peace to the ones that hate me, you
Okay.
know,
Yeah.
and then hopefully it'll bring light and love to their heart so then they can let go of resentments against me, and then so I continually try, and it's successful. I have a relationship with some people who I had massive resentments for, and new ones that are forming. Like, well, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to say names, but there's a person in my life who's very close to me, who is like a really really best friend to me, who did something uh, recently that that I feel twisted up about, and I pray for them, every day, because I need to let that go, right? Like, why?
Yeah.
I don't need resentments, man. Like, that's what we're trying to do, is right, is become better people, and I don't want resentments. And who the fuck am I to judge? Who really, at the end of the day, who am I to judge? I'm
Mhm.
not,
I love you.
I love you.
How has forgiveness deepened my sense of freedom in recovery? You know me pretty well by now. We talk a lot. We talk pretty deep, and you know, freedom and love are in the top things that are part of my life. You know,
Huge things. Yeah.
and anything that isn't forgiveness, is not loving completely, and I really believe, like, the more various philosophies I'm reading, the more books I'm learning, the underlying thing in them all is loving completely.
Yeah.
And like, like, I don't need a list of 50 spiritual principles. I need to learn how to love. I need one thing.
Yeah.
But it's like you only need to change one thing. You just need to love. And if you can love in every direction of your life, it's going to be forgiving. It's going to have compassion. It's going to have integrity. It's going to be patient. It's going to be kind. It's going to have tolerance, acceptance. Like, love has everything in it,
Mhm.
and the other ones don't. Like, they don't, like, you could be honest and resentful to someone, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, like,
Yeah, I honestly resent you, right? You can
yeah.
definitely be like that, right?
I
Yeah.
honestly think you're an asshole and I'm punching your head off your shoulders. Like,
Right?
but
Yeah.
and so one of the things is, like, what am I not forgiving? What am I not forgiving in myself? And my current step work, it's really showing me some things where I'm looking at it, and like, it's one of the things where I'll hold something up. Like this morning, I was irked that Michelle and Az were going to the first post-operative appointment with her surgeon, and somehow I didn't get looped in on it. And I was like, whoa, I feel resentful. I'm like, and then I started walking the dogs, and I was like, Did I ask her when it was? Did I put it in a calendar? Did, like, I'm like, what is my part here in this? And I came
Yeah.
back home and I said, I had no business being angry there. I said, I'm really actually angry at myself that I didn't take the time to be considerate about it, you know? Because that's
That's,
really what it was.
yeah.
It was like a fear inside me that, hey, I'm not caring enough to have this in my schedule. And somehow she did, you know? And and so, like for me, it's and then it was like, okay, you know what? Like, I'm okay. I made a mistake. Let's move on. But I don't need to feel anything towards them, and I don't need to think I'm an asshole all day.
Right. Yeah.
And then it's gone, right? Like,
Yeah.
and that to me, is forgiveness in action, and it was it was an education. It was an education that, if I want to be looped in on something, if I want that, I need to take the time to be caring
Yeah.
enough about it to make it part of my life.
Sure.
And and really, my biggest anger was that, that I hadn't,
Okay.
and it was
Yeah.
like transference to somebody else. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
how many times have you dropped the ball and then been mad at someone else because you weren't
Uh,
looped in or whatever the fuck?
oh, I lived my whole life that way. I was, I
Yeah,
was always the victim. No one was like me. You know what I mean? That's just, yeah. I
yeah.
lived my entire life that way. Yeah.
Okay, you ready for another question?
Yep.
Okay. So the 12 and 12 reminds us that acceptance is the answer to all our problems today. How has acceptance helped you let go of unfinished relationships or regrets?
Well, man, you got some good questions today. All right. Um, yeah. Well, first of all, I accept that that I am a drug addict. That's what I am. And I accept that in that and living that way for so long is that I hurt a lot of people. And I hurt myself a lot. And I missed out on a lot of stuff um because of my addiction. Being able to forgive that man has enabled me to keep pushing forward in my recovery, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I have to accept that there's relationships that'll never be mended. And that's
Yeah.
okay. That's okay, you know. When I first got clean, okay, so we spent so many years in active addiction hiding our feelings or using so we don't have to feel that guilt and shame and stuff like that. We get clean, that shit dumps in on us. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And for a lot of us, it's the first time in our lives that, for me anyway, that I actually had feelings, you know. And so there's a lot of relationships that I completely destroyed and I broke people's hearts and I and in accepting that I did that, I can move past that because I understand, again, that's not who I am today.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the man I am today. I can accept that that's how I was. I take responsibility for it, yes, but I'm not going to sit here and shit kick myself every day because of it. What am I going to do? I'm going to make a living amends because there's people I've heard that they don't ever want to see me again. They don't ever want to talk to me again. They don't care that I got clean. They don't give a shit. And they don't want an amends. They don't want me to sit down and talk to them and apologize and they don't want that. And I
Yeah.
can't, I'm not going to force it on them. Why? To hurt them more? To bring up past things? No. So that's where we do a living amends.
Yeah. That was great. So, how has acceptance helped me let go of unfinished relationships or regrets? You know, I feel a, like one of the things that has been the most fundamental change in my understanding of serenity and contentment and joy is about living presently, you know, and not, like accepting the present moment as, as not only like as it is, but also that it's really the only thing I need to deal with right now. You know, it's like that stopped me from a lot of anxiety and a lot of regrets.
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm not thinking about what I have to do after this podcast. I'm not thinking about what I did before we got here. Like I'm just trying to make sure I'm listening to what you're saying, that that you're feeling heard, and that I'm responding, with as much love and truth as I possibly can in this situation. And so, you know, um, there's just like, if that relationship isn't right now, I'm probably not thinking about it for 99% of the day. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
does my mind cruise and cycle past things as triggers when I'm driving or walking or whatever, or somebody says something, and of course it does, because
Yeah.
I'm a fucking computer with all these memories in there. You know, like I almost feel like sometimes how we get memories is almost like our brain's way of making sure that that doesn't lose its storage or something.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's like, oh, there's that memory, and it just gives us a flash of it so we don't forget it forever or something, you know?
Yeah.
But
And sometimes, sorry.
go ahead. What?
Sometimes I think maybe our higher power lets us remember these things at certain times because it's sending a message to us, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like it's a higher power sending a message like, "Hey, remember this? Hey,
Mhm.
don't fucking do that again." You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
you're not so fucking perfect. Like
Yeah.
you have the dick capacity. You have
No.
the dick, and it's like, oh shit,
Yeah.
I do. I ever have the dick,
Oh,
like, or that leads to dickiness. You know.
yeah. Don't be a dickhead.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
is that the only result of some things is dishonesty and dickheadness? Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
it's and yeah, and so I feel that I know myself enough now that I'm not just dwelling in the past with shame and guilt anymore. Like I'm not proud of all the stuff I did. That is not what I'm saying. But I don't
Yeah.
carry it like a bag of rocks on my shoulder every single day.
Yeah. Yeah. You do.
Is there moments where I'll see somebody or something and it takes me back there? Yeah, there is. And will that ever be gone? You know what? I'm not sure I want that to be gone. Like, there is just times where I'm like, yeah, that's a good reminder that that really is a slippery slope in that direction, you
Yes.
know? And
Yes.
because it's like I can be from like pure as the white fucking snow to
Yeah.
the most devilish thoughts in a half second. And
Oh
and
yeah.
and it's just like funk, and I'm like, whoa, I don't like I'm not that anymore. I'm not acting on that, you know,
Yeah.
but it's still sitting there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because
Yeah,
like yeah, because we spent so many years in active addiction. Of
yeah,
course, we're not going to go from a lying manipulative dickhead
yeah,
to Mother Teresa overnight, right? It's a work, Mother Teresa.
yeah. Like I do think that the whole principled life and change. It's like learning a martial art right now. Like they say 10,000 times is muscle memory. Well, I think we have to make the right choice 10,000 times for that to be our instinct.
I
I
can
don't
dig
think
that. Yeah.
I don't think it's just like, oh, I acted loving once. Look out, I'm the old loving being now.
Mm.
Like no
Yeah.
matter how good it feels, there's still that
Yeah.
moment where you're just not looking, and it's like your reaction is going to be what you were.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Because the okay, like it became entirely rated like character defects, right? We don't ever get. I don't think anyway. For me personally, we don't entirely get rid of these character defects. We shelf them, right?
Yeah.
Because some people also call them like defense mechanisms, defense strategies, right?
Mm.
Because those are the things that we needed in active addiction to
Or in
rely
childhood
on
trauma. Yeah.
in childhood trauma, whatever, right? So we don't ever like go with like we don't ever. I don't believe we fully ever get rid of those.
Mm.
So sometimes they fucking fall off the shelf at times that we don't want,
Yeah.
and and we snap at our wife, or
Yeah.
we yell at the daughter, or we whatever. Who knows, right? Kick the cat. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree 100% on that. Okie dokie, you ready for another question, hot dog?
Yes, I am.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yosef, front row. Grief in recovery is not a step backward, it's a sign of the heart opening wider. What has grief taught you about compassion for yourself and for others?
Well, it's taught me to be compassionate of others. And if I can be compassionate to others, I can have some compassion for myself. Because, okay, listen, here's the trip. At the end of the day, I'm a fucking drug addict, and I acted like a drug addict. So if I can feel sympathy and grief for other drug addicts, then I need to be able to feel it for myself too. And I need to be like, and I need to and I do, and I feel bad for that man that I was, you know. I feel bad that man had to do the things he did while in active addiction. And and I do have grief for him. But that allows me to move forward. That allows me to and to be fucking grateful, right? That's so important. That's something we really haven't touched on too much today. Is just how grateful that we are in active recovery, right? Like I'm
Mm,
so grateful that I woke up clean today and that I don't have to use, you know, I don't have to wake up. There's something that your friend Mikey said on one of your podcasts, and I love it so much. And I think of it and I say it all the time is, you know, I don't have to feed when I wake up, I don't have to feed my addiction before I feed myself. And that
yeah,
is because I could remember having to wake up and having to use. I had to,
yeah,
or else I would be sick. I'd be sick.
yeah.
And I'm so grateful that I woke up clean today. And I feel really sorry for that man I used to be that didn't have that, you
Hmm.
know. And it's and maybe I'm using the word grieve in the wrong way. I just feel really sad for that man at times. But that makes me that but that gives me strength to be able to keep doing this, keep pushing forward, and have enjoyment in it. And I enjoy my life now. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing, man.
We have a lot of
Recovery,
fun, man.
we have a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun, and and I get to go to the gym. I get to go to meetings. I get to chair meetings. I get to have a sponsee. I get to, you know, yeah, man. And right now I love my life,
Yeah.
and I love my life, and just saying that almost tears me up because there's in active addiction. I fucking hated my life. I hated who I was. I hated the circumstances I was in. I hated what I was doing for a living. I hated like, you know, fucking going to jail and fucking getting arrested. And I hated like just everything that came with that lifestyle. I hated it's not what I wanted to do or be or, and now I'm so grateful that I'm just so grateful at where my life is and the direction my life's heading and just the possibilities that I have a fucking future and it's a beautiful thing.
I love that. You know,
Yeah,
yeah.
I love you.
I I feel that upon reflection of the choosing of this topic is that there's much more celebration of our new lives happening than there is mourning of our past lives. You know, we chose this topic because of one relationship that you that has come to a front in your life, and I've also had relationships, but quite honestly, like you know, I think that my experience of both of us is that we're far happier inside our recovery than we were inside our addiction. And, you know, much like yourself, like I was the master of the pity party. I was the master of saying I was a victim. Like I was not loving life because I was not given like I was not giving my perception was so skewed that everything was a hassle. Like everything that broke me out of my pattern of partying was a
Yeah.
hassle. Whether it was work, whether it was family, whether it was, you know, like everything was not an opportunity to find a solution. It was a problem, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now really that that feeling is confined to really tired days in my life. Like I
Mm,
still see that personality trait come out on those days. And if possible on those days, I just withdraw. You know, like I just put myself around people less and know that it's like this is a me day now, you know? You
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
because I don't need to spread my fucking shit peanut butter all over someone else's sandwich. Like you just pictured
Yeah.
it. I know you did.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here's right. So in active addiction, we feel like I don't know why I just thought of this. We feel like we use drugs because we're happy people. We do whatever we want. But the truth is, happy people don't use drugs. Happy people
Yeah.
don't use drugs. They just don't. They don't. And you
Yeah.
and honestly, I don't fucking care how functioning you are or whatever. If you're using daily substances
Yeah.
daily, you're not a happy person. You might be good at pretending you're happy, but inside you're not happy, and that's
You
not
wouldn't be
living.
seeking the change. You
You
wouldn't be
wouldn't be
seeking.
seeking the change.
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't
No.
be seeking
Like
change, and
if
you
you're
can't just
experiencing
remember.
real contentment, you
Yeah.
don't need the desire to change it.
No, why? To distort reality? No, because the reason why we use drugs is because we can't handle reality. We need to escape. We need an
Yeah.
escape from reality, right?
Yeah.
And we cannot have a connection to this world, to our higher power, to the universe. We cannot have a connection when we're putting drugs into our system. We cannot.
Yeah. I
And I
100% agree.
believe that you cannot have any sense of true happiness, not just being happy because oh I got a new car, I'm happy for a fucking minute, but then pretty
Mhm.
soon that new car you need somebody else's new car. But you can't truly have a sense of happiness unless you are substance free, unless you have abstinence.
I would say that maybe that's the difference between joy and happiness.
Okay, yeah, I like that. Yeah,
Like, you
free.
know, like happiness can be very temporal, it can be
Yeah,
sensation based, but joy is that deep inner goodness,
yes, yeah,
you
I agree
know?
with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, you can't have joy,
Yeah.
actual joy. And that's, you know what I mean? And that, fuck, man, that's probably the greatest gift right there, right? Is actually feeling joy,
Mhm.
actually feeling it
Yeah.
for the first time. Like when you actually realize that you actually love someone.
Mm.
And I'm not even talking like a romantic partner, right? I just mean like anyone, like that you actually have love.
Mhm.
Uh, what a gift that is, because it's a beautiful thing, right?
I
And
had to
loving
bite
other
my
men.
tongue a couple days ago at a meeting because somebody said they were like, I can't stand when someone comes into a meeting and they're happy all the time. And I was like, oh, this guy's gonna hate me. I'm like, I mean,
Right?
and what I really felt like at the time was like, I was like, oh, I'm like, this person's never experienced joy.
Yeah.
Like, and so there's either a fear or a jealousy involved with that. And and I was like, well, I don't really, you know, like, and then I was like, I don't need to respond and turn this into a battle of wits about this, you know. But but I realized at that point, it's like somebody who gets angry at other people's joy is truly never experienced it. Because I think if you really experience true joy, man, you want everyone to have it.
Yeah.
Like there's
Yeah.
not a single
Joy is
person on earth I
necessary.
wouldn't wish joy for.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
if everybody was joyous, God, it would be so fucking awesome.
Yeah. There would be a much better world.
Yeah, what?
It'd be way better. Yeah.
Yeah, people wouldn't
Yeah.
be killing each other for each other's stuff. They just
Yeah.
wouldn't give a shit.
No, it's just
They'd be
yeah.
like, "Hey,
And,
we're all happy. Why don't we make more swimming pools and like
yeah.
balloons?"
I want a swimming pool. You could, it's funny. You can. There's people in our rooms that I think they feel like. Well, for one, there's a lot of people that just don't get it. There is, right? There's a lot of people, and I've met people with long-term sobriety long-term
Mhm.
recovery, and there's fucking miserable, and they're
Mm.
miserable people, and they don't get it, and they don't understand, and it's almost like I can it's almost like you can point out like you need to do another set of steps, or you need to just do a set of steps. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You can yeah, I can point them out. I can smell them. I can smell them in the room.
I think, for me, it truly like now with this whole quest for love, I am
Yeah,
just like, oh, they're just not loving right now,
yeah,
you know? And man, I'll tell you, learning to love is a real education. Like actually looking at all the small and big things that I'm doing that aren't loving, I'm like, whoa, that's not loving. That's not loving. And I'm like,
yeah,
oh, but that one's kind of loving. Let's expand on that one. You know?
yeah.
Well, and I'm really loving doing this two-way prayer because it's a question I ask myself, and like I get different answers. Like I get a lot of the same answers, and then I get like a few little surprisers.
Yeah.
You know,
I
love.
think I do the same thing. I just don't call it two-way prayer. I
Yeah,
think yeah, I think some people call it meditating. Some
yeah.
people call it, maybe just contemplation and reflection or something.
Mhm.
I think I do the same thing. I've just never called it two-way prayer, but I think I do that too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
What's the
basically like throwing a question out there and letting the higher power or your intuition or whatever it is reply.
Yeah.
Clearing your mind enough to listen for an answer.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
find often that I don't get answers to questions that I ask, but I get answers to questions that I have that I forgot to ask, if that makes any sense. Like
Yeah.
during my prayer ritual in the morning, because I do my praying in the morning. Um,
He's a morning
and
prayer.
I'll do my morning prayer. I don't know why I said it like that. I don't even know what kind of accent that is.
You
Morning
got,
prayer. It's
you
like
got a
hillbilly.
country bumpkin sort of.
Country. That's country. Um, what was I saying? I don't know.
You were talking
Anyway.
about your morning meditation.
Okay, yeah. And things will just come to me and I'll be like, oh fuck, that's why that happened. Or that's what that means. That's why that person is doing that. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So sometimes it's not like I'm not asking questions,
Mm.
but I get answers to questions that I haven't asked yet and things that I didn't even know I was wondering about, I guess.
Most of the time, people are not listening for guidance, man. Like, first of
Okay.
all, First of all, I believe, whether you want to call it higher power of the universe doesn't supply answers at our speed or our beck and call, right?
That's yeah.
So like, but it will supply guidance. I do believe that if we stop and listen, there's guidance out there.
Yeah. And there's answers if we're open enough to receive them,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we have to be yeah, but sometimes you're only going to get the answers or the guidance if you're aligned properly for it at that point in your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe uh, I am one with the all, and the all is within me, right? We are all connected. I
Mm-hmm.
believe that, and I believe like uh, all the answers are there. We just have to get connected enough, spiritual enough to receive them. You
And we
know?
have to be able to silence our own yippee yapping long enough for
Yep.
there to be space for them.
Yep.
Like if I never
Yep.
stop talking and you try to talk right now, I'm never going to hear anything you're saying. You can go try to talk. I'll just keep going. And like, there's no room for an answer. And
Yeah.
that's what most of our lives are like. People go from talking to someone, to putting on music, to watching a show, to like, they're, we're never like, oh, okay, I need to open my life up for some universal response here.
Yeah.
Like how many people are making space in their brain today for guidance?
Yeah. And how do we do that? We
You
go into
know,
nature, right? You go on
like
your walk,
I
right?
I try now, like even when I'm at a meeting, and I'm like, if I say to myself like silently there, I'm like, if I get asked to share, I'm like, guide me in what I'm saying with love and surrender. And I just say that to myself, kind of
Yeah,
trying to invite that guidance in.
sure. Yeah, sure.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, because I really, um, I do believe in sharing a message,
Mhm.
even if there's a pile of mess in there, you know? And if I'm having a tough day with something, I'm the first one to like to mention it. I'm just going to follow it up with what I believe I've learned from it, in the message sort of sense.
I think it's important that we and what I've learned from in meetings is, and maybe off topic a little bit, is that it's important for me to I just really try to listen, right?
Mm,
I heard
mm,
someone say once, the universe gave you one tongue and two ears because you should be listening more than you should be talking, right? So
mm,
I really try to listen to what people have to say because in a lot of ways, my higher speaks to me through other people, right?
mm.
And then when it's my time to share, then I just whatever, I just rap about whatever. Or sometimes then it's just I just say, I no, I'm just gonna listen today because
Mm.
that's what you need, you right? And then it'll come to me, you know what I mean? And yeah,
I I I honestly but truly believe that that's one of the problems, like between the online meetings and the in-person meetings, is that online people are like working, not looking, cleaning their kitchen, blah blah blah, and that's all dandy because people get more recovery, at least better than none. But I
yeah,
truly believe a share has a pitcher and a catcher. Like
yeah,
if nobody's paying attention, that's not sharing.
yeah,
That's throwing it out there. That's like masturbating. Like sometimes at the online meetings, it feels like a series of masturbations. Everybody gets up and they're like, "Whoa, watch me come!" You know?
yeah. Watch me jerk one out now.
Yeah,
Yeah, that just got X-rated quick.
whatever, whatever. I don't think that was rude. I think it's true.
No,
It's
I
it's
had a good
it's
point.
like it's like when like man, I used to host a lot of music nights. And
Yeah,
there would be the people that would get up there and engage the audience and play music with them and make a circle of energy with them. And then there was the masturbators. And they would just be up there like, watch me be amazing. Can you
yeah,
see how amazing I am? Why
yeah,
didn't you engage my amazingness? And generally
yeah,
it's because there's no room left for the audience.
yeah.
But I also feel in the meetings, like with shares,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like if you're just going up there to say, hey, I am the greatest problem solver in the world and watch me solve problems because I'm never going to have a problem again. Like
yeah,
that's like that has nothing to do with like, hey, this is what I learned. Like for myself, when I have some little incremental epiphany, man, I can't wait to share it. I can't wait to share it because it was something hard won off of
sure.
the pain of my life. That it's
Mhm.
like, holy shit, man. And quite often, if I'm sharing something like that, it's because if I had known that 10 years earlier, man, like there would be like happier people around me and less
Uh,
pain in my
yeah,
life, you know?
yeah.
You know,
See, that's
and
that's that's different but some people they have like it's almost like a monologue they're going. And I'm not trying to sit here and talk shit about people's shares or whatever, but
yeah,
I'm saying sometimes you can tell like this person has a rehearsed monologue, or you know what I mean, or like wait a minute, I've heard this before, like you
yeah,
know, and I think it's important just to when you're sharing just to not think about it, just to let go and
mm,
let whatever your higher
mm,
power help you speak through you, right? And
mm,
that because maybe that's the message that is going to help someone else, or and when people share like that, those are the messages that help me, right?
yeah.
And that's where I hear something that I need, right? It always drives me nuts when people say recovered addict. I'm a happy recovered addict because i
Oh,
i
I
don't
love that.
believe I don't believe that there is a recovered. I think we're always in recovery. We're always recovering. I feel like that's my trip. I
Okay,
don't.
I'll talk about this for a minute because I've been thinking about this. So
All right.
I do feel that I'm not saying that any of those people could like use occasionally like a normie and blah blah blah. But I do believe that there's a point, whether you're in AA or NA, where it, the substance isn't the problem anymore. Like where
Yeah.
I don't experience cravings. I don't
Mhm.
think about it obsessively at all. And
Okay.
my problem now is just the Milanisms. You know,
Mhm.
it's just the shit up here that's keeping me from being happy. And
Mhm.
and in some ways, I would like to say that I do feel partly, at least in part, recovered from that substance ism. And and the reason that I like that and I do think it's important is because, you know, I know that there's some people that come to those meetings, dude, they haven't had a craving for 20, 30 years. I think it's important for a newcomer to see that that changes. You know, like the first time I heard somebody say that was my friend Jessie, and she's just celebrated 17 years. And, uh, and she's like, I'm recovered from that. She's like, this is now my life and my issues. And I was like, oh, you're going to be recovered from that one day, Milan? Like, that was a real exciting prospect. And
Yeah.
like, I'm not saying, like, dude, I know from my white knuckling and taking breaks and stuff like that, that that addictive behavior inside me with a bag of whatever is never going away.
Yeah.
But I am recovered from that obsessive thought about it and the desire to use it right now.
Mhm.
And so I think it just depends
Yeah.
on what you're
Yeah.
defining recovered as. You know, like
I
am
think,
I
yeah, I think you're right.
I'm
Yeah.
not like a newborn baby, but I'm
Yeah.
a newborn Milan.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have a daily reprieve contingent on us doing the work. I think that's why that's, and the way I look at it as, if a person is recovered, well, then you've graduated from this program or whatever,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
you can now move on and live normal life or whatever. But that's not me. I will never be able to sniff cocaine like a gentleman. I will never be able to just have one beer. I
Mm.
will never, you know what I mean? Like, so what I have is a, like our big book tells us, I have a daily reprieve.
Mm.
If
But
I
you
do the
have,
work.
but to a certain extent, you have recovered from that state of active addiction.
Uh, yes, yes, yeah, maybe. I,
You know what? All I can say is this is I would like to pick this conversation up after you've experienced 1 year of no cravings.
okay, that's fair.
And
That's fair.
I think that that will create a different feeling in you about like because for me I white knuckled it before up to 20 months. That was the longest I was
Wow.
up. And what happened was, dude, the entire time I couldn't wait to have more. The entire time. Like there was not, I had no daily reprieve in my head. I would watch someone drink a beer across a restaurant and be like, I wish it was me. You know, like I would like occasionally stand in line in a grocery store and smell someone on drugs and I'd be like, can't wait till next time. Like, and that just doesn't happen anymore, man.
Yeah.
And so, like, there has to be some sort of accreditation to being like being trigger free, to being desire free, to being
Yeah.
that's it's not the same thing.
All right, I
It's
can dig that. I can dig that.
yeah.
Okay.
And for me, I think the reason that I can be on board to that being said is because of how it impacted me when I was a brand newcomer. And I heard somebody share that who was truly free of those two things, you know, of the
Yeah.
obsessive thought about it and the desire to. Like,
Yeah.
like I was like, I will actually not want it at some point. You know,
Yeah.
like that whole like, you know, that there's a line in the AA book where it's like we recoil from it as if from a hot flame.
Yeah.
And and honestly, man, I think we were talking about, like, I was talking about seeing someone, I think last Thursday, but when we got together, and I saw them, and I was like, oh, like I saw them, and I was like, oh my God, thank fucking God, like, thank fucking God, I'm not there. Like, I literally, like, it almost turns my stomach when I see
Yeah,
somebody in really
yeah,
rough shape right now.
I can dig it. Yeah,
And,
yeah,
and and I would call that recoiling. Like I would call that
yeah.
recoiling. Like I literally am like, oh, like, and I'm not like, oh, they're gross. I'm like,
No, 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 no. No,
I'm like,
they're-
holy fuck, do I never want to be there, man?
yeah, I can dig it. Yeah, I'm grateful that I'm not there. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I always want to like load them up in the druggy buggy. Let's go to a meeting.
yeah,
I wish I could just like shake people and tell them it's going to get better. If you just start this journey. I don't have daily cravings anymore.
mhm,
I haven't for a while, but I do still get hit. Like it'd be a weird thing. It actually just happened the other day. I was telling my sponsee about this. I was driving to Penticton for I don't remember what, but I got hit with a full frontal attack. And I was like, I could go right now and just go pick up, and I could fucking go buy a pipe, and I could smoke some crack, and nobody would know. Like nobody would know.
yeah,
And I was like, hey, wait a minute, asshole. Like, where the fuck did that come from? Like, where the fuck did that
yeah,
come from? Like,
yeah,
you know, and I was having a really good day. Maybe that's why, right? Because my addiction will try to find the chink in the armor and weasel its way in.
yeah,
And sometimes it starts with like just you know, maybe making me feel a little cranky or grumpy or something. And that's the way it's going to slowly weasel in. And sometimes it's just like a full frontal assault, like the other day. It's like, bam, you want to
yeah,
smoke crack. Like, motherfucker, no, I don't want to smoke crack. You know, like that's not what I want to do. But it's strange how like that happens. So I think I'm looking forward to a full year of not having a full frontal attack like that.
yeah.
Yeah. And then
Well,
maybe I will be recovered. I don't know. Maybe I will.
I just, like, I honestly didn't believe her when she first said that in front of me.
I
And then
kind
I
of know her.
watched her, and then I watched her, and I was like, it's true. Like,
Yeah. Well, I
like,
want it.
and
I want
and then I realized that it was just like, I'm like, okay, and this isn't happening for me either. And I realized the importance of that. They're like, I don't think everybody can say it, and so I don't think it's something that everybody should say.
it.
Like, there's a lot of people that always keep the reservation to use. And I think that has to do with how much they've changed their lives. Like, I don't think without, like, I think it's like time in the program, how well your surrender is, like I think there was a point with me, man, where it's just like I put that on the shelf, and that was on the shelf, and that's over there. Whatever part of my brain it is that like is that hamster wheel, it's sitting on a shelf, and it's up on the left here, and I know where it is, but it's not mine anymore.
Yeah.
And I really think different visualizations with surrender can help that, where it's just like you can just take part of the things in your brain and you can learn to put them over there. Like, I was showing you, I think before, that Harry God box,
Mhm.
and and putting, putting things to give away in the Harry God box was like fundamentally really
What the fuck are you talking about?
powerful.
It's a hairy
Huh?
god ball. It's a hairy god
Okay.
ball.
Okay. So, I don't have it down here. It's upstairs. But so I got a little cardboard box, right?
Okay.
It's like this big, like half the size of a tissue box. It's
Okay.
got a little slit cut in it, and I call mine the hairy God box, but most people just call it a God box. And
Okay.
so if you feel yourself starting to get a resentment, you write on a piece of paper the resentment and you put it there. And that's like surrendering your things.
Okay.
Like, if you wake up in the morning and you're feeling off and you've got a bunch of expectations of things, you write all those expectations away. And as soon as you put them in the box,
Yeah.
you are not allowed to think about them again. You need to try this for 90 days, dude. It's magic.
Okay.
It's magic where it's just like it literally kind of gives you like a 100% visual concrete way to visualize surrender. Like if you've written it and put it in the box, right?
Yeah.
You know what you wrote. Like whether it's like Danielle not calling me back, right? Like say like your sister, like maybe she didn't call you back in the morning, you wanted to talk to her about something and you're like, "Hey," but it's like once you put it in the box, you are not allowed to think about it. Like that's it. So it's like
All right.
the second, like, so you can like close your eyes, you can picture the words you have written. You're like, man, it's not mine anymore. It's not mine.
Yeah.
Like it's not mine. And so my friend Bryant from Ontario there, his first sponsor got his name was Harry. And Harry had shown him a God box. So I was like, oh, I'm going to make a Harry God box. Like instead of 2 hours, mine's, and then it sounds dirty. But
Yeah. And that's funny.
yeah, but the
You have a
thing
story.
is, man, I did that for about 3 months this year. Packed that sucker full. I would be sitting there some mornings just writing like 10 things. Rip off the paper, I'd fold them up tiny and shove them in.
Yeah.
And and man, I'm telling you though, like that representation and creating that rule of not being able to, like that's not mine anymore.
Yeah. I'll try that.
Oh yeah,
I'll try a God box.
yeah.
I'll try a shaved God box.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he likes a nice landing strip.
Yeah.
He keeps the grass short on his landing strip.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
you got
So,
tea going.
huh?
I said, oh, you got some tea going.
Nope. Some water. Some water. The tea's
Oh,
gone. Tea's gone. Gulp that stuff down.
yeah,
You
you
ready
don't get
for
that.
another question? We've been.
Yeah, yeah, you bet.
It was awesome though. I wanted to.
I forgot that we were doing a podcast. I thought we were just talking. That's funny. That's
That's the best though. That's the
yeah.
most
I
like
thought,
real, right?
wow, I thought we were just like FaceTiming. Fuck,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Okay, go. Let's do it.
Okay. Love without attachment becomes the bridge between what was and what will be. How do you practice loving someone or something while still letting them go?
Yeah. So this is actually something that I've had to do fairly recently with a friend of ours who's gone back. I'm not going to name names or stuff, but
No,
you probably know what I'm
I
talking about.
know.
And it's someone that we both care about very much, right? And I've
Hmm.
had to just love with detachment, you know what I
Hmm.
mean, and love that person from over here. And obviously, if they want to come back and they want help or rise to meetings or whatever, I'm there 100%. But but in no way, shape, or form am I gonna help you in your active addiction by lending money or giving rides or you know what I
Hmm.
mean? I'm just not gonna do that because some people. Here's the thing that I've learned: some people, they not some people, all of us, truly, all of us have to hit our rock bottom, and and some of us that means death, and that death is not a waste because if we because it shows us what we could be. And so yeah, right now I'm loving our friend with detachment, and when that person's ready, I'm here when they're ready to come back. But I'm not going to help them in their active addiction, and I'm not going to put mine in danger in any way, in my recovery in danger in any way.
I know exactly who you're talking about. And we definitely are not mentioning any names, but I have another friend, where uh, he literally said, why can't you love me as I am? Like as if it was a lack of acceptance on my part. And my response was, I can love you as you are, but my life is filled with recovery and you're
Yeah,
filling yours with substance. I'm like, we are literally not in the same dimension right now. And I
yeah,
said, anytime you're straight and you want to hang out,
yeah,
anytime you need a brother, and I'm not going to listen to a drugalogue or a drunkalogue, I'm telling you
yeah,
that right now. Like, I'm just not,
yeah,
like you can put any blame on me, but the consequence of your actions right now is that I can't be around that.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like don't put your using on me, man. Like
Yeah, dude.
100%. Like I'm really sad that you're using. And you know, like I'm not saying you're a loser using. I know what it's like to be an addict, man. I'm
Yeah.
like, but
No, I get it. I'm
but
an addict.
I'm not going to enable it, and I'm not going to pretend that I think it's a good thing for you when I see it killing you.
Yeah. I'm not gonna pretend it's okay. And
Yeah,
that's what's putting our recovery first. That's what's
yeah,
putting recovery first. Because if we don't put our recovery first, we're useless to everyone else in our life. You know what I
yeah.
mean? If I don't put my recovery first, and that means sometimes uh, not going to events, even family events, because I got a meeting to chair, or sometimes it means whatever. But people realize pretty quickly that, that's okay, because this version of us is our truest self, and it's not that version that's sick and dying, right? So yeah, we gotta put our recovery first, and that means loving with distance, loving
Mm.
someone from afar, you know.
I
So
100% agree, and you know, I I I always pray for the still suffering addict and alcoholic, man. I do.
yes, that's why we take a moment of silence. That's the thing too, you know, like we take this moment of silence. I'm just going to say this because it's something that I've been thinking about lately. We take a moment of silence at our meetings. There's some meetings that we don't. I think it's important that those meetings that we don't, that we start doing that. Like I think on Wednesday, the Wednesday nooner, that's something we should bring up. Anyway, but we take that moment of silence, uh, and
Don't we
that's
take a moment
important.
of silence?
No, at that Wednesday nooner, we don't.
Oh, I think when
No,
I've chaired,
you
we
know,
have. I think when I've chaired, we have.
I disagree.
Okay, well,
I
you know
think
what?
it's
I will make sure that we do now
yeah,
because I do think it's important to have that group consciousness of trying to love some people into the rooms.
yes, and actually take the moment. Like then, because some people you hear them beep beep, they hear their phone shutting down and stuff like that. Like do that before the. That's another thing that fucking drives me nuts. Like why motherfuckers gotta have cell phones in a meeting? You can go an hour without your fucking phone. Like you can.
Yeah,
We did it for years before the invention of the cell phone. People our age, right?
yeah.
There was a time all we had was pagers.
I never had a pager, so that
You never
shows.
had a pager? Oh,
No,
okay. Well,
no, man. I just had. I don't know. People who knew me. Either I was home or I wasn't.
yeah,
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 you weren't getting me to go nowhere.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that moment of silence, that is so important because
Yeah.
that's, you know, and it's showing that not just for people that are still out there, but for the ones of us that didn't make it, you know.
Mm.
And that's what I've been thinking about a lot lately. Is during when I'm taking a moment of silence, is my cousin Bookin, who we lost my cousin a couple months ago, well, a month ago, I think, and he was hard on family. He was, you know, and he'd been active. He'd been in active addiction for a lot of years, his whole life, really. And yeah, he succumbed to his disease. Uh, so that's what I think about, you know. So not just the ones that are still suffering, but those of us that aren't here anymore, you know.
Mm.
Yeah. So it is. Yeah, it is important.
Yeah, I 100% feel that way.
Good.
Okay, I got a question for you now.
All
The
right.
big book suggests that we can be rocketed into a fourth dimension when we stop fighting reality. How has letting go of control lifted you to a higher awareness of peace?
What's the last part of that question?
How has letting go of control lifted you to a higher awareness of peace?
Oh man. Okay, so I've said this lots at meetings, right? First off, when I'm living in Yossef's will, right,
Yeah.
and my will, self will. When I'm driving the bus, catastrophic engine failure. It
Mm,
goes. It's inevitable. I will. If I'm because then I'm trying to control every situation. I'm trying to control places, people, places, and things. What other people actually? Why do I do that? Because if I can control a situation, I can keep it safe. That I know everything about it. Then I'm safe, right? If I but if I now that's not saying I don't have free will because we all have free will, right? But when I give the will, when I surrender that to my higher power, then 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 it takes the weight away from me, and life has become, I don't want to say easy, but I want to, fuck it, yeah, it's easy. It's easy when I can give it up, when I give it over and just follow my truest path, what I'm supposed to do, which is making that next right decision, right? Because that's what it is, right? Just make the next right choice, make the next right decision. And my higher power guides me. When I give that will over, I don't remember the question, but I'm just gonna keep wrapping it with this. When I give that will over to my higher power and live, because that is my truest path. Like I was saying before, when we have substances, when we put substance in our body, we cannot have a. I don't believe we cannot have a. I can't have a true connection to my higher power, and it's only through that connection can we actually live in reality. Why do we use substances? To escape from reality, because we can't handle the truth. We can't. You can't handle the truth. We can't handle what's going on, right? Because we're scared, because we're sad, because we're children. Really, you read. I'm 50 going on 13. First time I used cocaine, I was 13 years old. And I've used it, and I used it almost every day up until last year. And if it wasn't cocaine, it was something else, alcohol or both or whatever. So now surrendering to living in recovery, surrendering my will, giving that over to my higher power. Now I can, I don't know, it rocketed me into recovery or rocketed me into reality. I don't know what rocketed me into a fourth dimension. I don't really understand what that means, but it's definitely rocketed me into reality. And now, and at first it's scary as fuck, right? Because having to feel feelings, having to have feels and be a grown up, be a 13-year old, 50-year-old man, and it's scary. But knowing that I have a path, an actual path to take, uh, it's very relieving. When I can give that up to my higher power, it's like a relief.
I love that. That was beautiful. So, how has letting go of control lifted me to a higher awareness of peace? That whole that whole like victim and letting everybody, like being just a reactionary machine. I was on puppet strings while trying to hold the puppet strings. Really, it's kind
Mm-hmm.
of, like I was like desperately trying to control things and desperately unhappy at the end. Like, man, I think of the last 6 months. The last 6 months for me was like this nosedive, nosedive into like everything being painful,
Yeah.
you know? And I don't know, like I think that's why I reached a turning point was like there was just like it was insufferable what I let my brain create with trying to control things because everything was a disappointment because life never goes like I think it's gonna. It never goes like I plan.
Yeah.
And and, and so like that first surrender of my addiction coming into the program, letting go of that fight for my sobriety, like that fight, letting that go was the first speck of peace I ever had in my life. Like it
Yeah.
was like I was like, whoa. I'm like that voice inside there that was like more, 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 more. It was gone. It was
Yeah.
like it was gone, and I was like, holy shit. And that made me believe that there was magic in these 12 steps. That right
Mm-hmm.
there. I was like, whoa. I'm like, it's quiet in here for the first time
Mm-hmm.
ever. It's fucking quiet. And I'm like, I didn't realize how much the sound of my own ego was was torturing me,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And that was insanity. Like when came to believe a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I was insane. I'm like, I would call like that was there was no sanity inside the way I was acting, who I was being, and what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Like it was just it was so, and then the biggest thing that made me realize how insane it was that first step 4. When I got to step 4, and I was like, man, I am really good at believing my own lies. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
like I'm
Yeah.
hiding stuff so deeply from myself, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty much done the questions because I was trying to be mindful of you having to split. Do you got anything else you want to say here to everybody?
Uh, I love you so much, man.
I love you.
Um, yeah. I don't know. What do you mean? I don't know. Don't do
I just
drugs.
thought maybe
Drugs
from
not
something I
drugs.
just said there, maybe you wanted to say something.
Oh, you know what? Yeah. I'm just so grateful. You know what I mean? I'm just so grateful. I was really reflecting on what you were saying and just like almost like, yeah, yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in so many ways, well, we all do that, don't we? Like we tell each other stories. You know what I mean? I'm just
Mm.
like, no, exactly. And yeah, the first time I think I really ever felt some sort of peace was you know, it actually wasn't when I first went to treatment though, right? Like, because I went
Mm.
when I went to treatment, um, I didn't go for myself, right? I didn't stop using cocaine.
Yeah.
I didn't stop smoking crack for myself. I stopped because my sister wanted me to go to treatment. So then I decided I was just going to take a break. So obviously, when you're not doing it for yourself, like you're doomed, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't think I had a fucking problem anyway. I don't know how I didn't know I had a problem, but I really didn't until I got out of treatment, and I pretty much uh I wouldn't even consider it a relapse because I never surrendered in the first place.
Yeah.
So then I realized, oh fuck, I can't stop. Then I realized, fuck, I am a drug addict, and
Yeah.
so then that scared me. And so luckily I remembered everything I learned. Well, I remembered a lot of stuff I learned from treatment, and I knew what the answer was, and that was to go to a fucking meeting.
Yeah.
And then so then when I went to that meeting, then I realized, um, you know, okay, there is an answer. There's a way out of this insanity, of this fucking chaos.
Mm.
Because what I didn't realize is I actually found some happiness in treatment. I didn't even
Mm.
realize that until I had come out of treatment, relapsed, and then I realized, oh fuck! And that happiness was not having to live in that insanity of just that hamster wheel of looking, using, finding drugs, selling drugs to people, constant, chasing down whatever. You know what I mean? Like
I'm so grateful to be free of that, man.
I'm
I'm
just so
so
grateful to
grateful.
be free from that, from
Yeah.
to wake up clean. The first thing I do when I in the morning, first thing I do after my prayer and ritual meditation is I journal, and every day I'm fucking grateful that I'm clean today. I'm grateful that I
Mm.
woke up clean,
Mm.
and I set intention, right? Because it's important to set intention for me,
Mm.
and that's something I try to pass on to people write your intentions for the fucking day, right?
Mm.
And it's simple for me is I'm grateful that I'm clean and I am going to stay clean today. Today I am
Mm.
not going to pick up because I
Mm.
don't have to.
That's
And
right.
then and just for today, just for these 24 hours. Tomorrow, fuck it, whatever. I don't care
Mm.
about tomorrow, because there was days where I promised myself, you can smoke crack tomorrow. You're allowed. I'm allowing it. Just don't do it today. And then that next
Oh.
day, maybe I had to promise myself the same thing. I just made sure I broke the promise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get through the fucking 24 hours, you
Yeah.
know? But I'm just so grateful that now I have life. Um, Sometimes I get like, man, I wish I would have found this shit sooner, you know? I wish I didn't have to live in 35 years of it. But then again, I would
It's
maybe
our
change
story,
it.
dude. It's our
That's our story.
story.
That's
You
okay.
know, like, yeah. You know what though is what I like though is when I see someone younger come in, we have the privilege
Yeah.
of showing that it doesn't get better,
Yeah.
and we have the chance to help somebody start their journey younger.
Yeah, yeah. I'm so stoked that because as is what 23 or
3,
something like that.
yeah,
23. Yeah, fucking good for her. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And she can look at us and be like,
Boom.
for one. It's a miracle that we're alive.
Yeah.
Okay, let's not
Oh
get
yeah.
that twisted. It's a
Yeah.
miracle that I'm alive right now.
Yeah.
It's a miracle that you're alive right now. You legit died.
Yeah.
A miracle that you're alive. So hopefully the younger people they can see us and understand that it might not, you know, it's not just it's not just death that you got to worry about. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's actually living that's worse. It's living in
With the
the
pain. Yeah.
living in the pain. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what I try to think. When I think about my cousin who just passed, is I'm grateful that he doesn't have to feed his addiction every day.
Yeah.
I'm grateful that he's at peace now. I
Mhm.
wish that Bookin could have um, found our rooms. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? It's not that he didn't know
Yeah.
about them,
Yeah.
but there's just
If
he
you're
just
not
didn't.
ready, you're not doing it, dude. Bottom
No,
line.
he didn't hit his rock bottom, and his rock bottom was death.
Yeah.
That was his rock bottom, and and that's okay. I'm okay with that now. It was hard. It was really hard for us, for my family, because he was such a important man in our family. Um, but I'm grateful that he doesn't have to suffer anymore. You
Yeah.
know?
I love you, brother. Thank you for
I love you
coming back
too.
on. I'm going to
Thanks for
see you
having
at
me.
6 p.m. tonight.
I will see you at 6 p.m. tonight. Yeah.
And
For the
everybody out there,
last
tune in
three.
next episode for more recovery fun.
Thanks, guys.
I love you.
Please help us help others. If you like what you've seen here today, please subscribe and share this podcast and help us get to 100 followers. We're looking for interaction with our audience. So please email recoveryfreedomrising@gmail.com or contact Milan South Okanagan Starcic on Facebook with questions, topic suggestions, or just comments. We'd love to hear from you.